Welcome to SVGTV News for Wednesday, May 31st, 2017. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Top cruise line executives from Disney, Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity Cruises, along with officials from the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association, met with government officials and other stakeholders in the local tourism industry today at the Argyle International Airport. The executives in the cruise industry were presented with plaques of appreciation and were commended by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, who affirmed that SVG is in the business for business. PM Gonsalves, who is responsible for air and seaports, also noted that while it is in the best interest to enhance cruise packages for visitors, revenues have to be collected to improve facilities throughout the country.
An indication, a symbol, whatever abstract noun you want to use, of our interest in developing tourism, enhanced communication between peoples across the world, which is what tourism is about. You know, the learning about each other's countries and enjoying ourselves at the same time, and building it as an important leisure industry for employment, for creation of wealth, and naturally the collection of taxes by government to improve the quality of life of people. I mean, so this is what it is about. And we want to build this partnership effectively. And my own presence is simply to affirm that we are in the business for business, and for the business of cruise tourism in this particular case.
The Prime Minister pleaded with Vincentians to take better care of the environment and ensure that their surroundings are clean and safe.
The crafts personnel, people in food and beverage, for them to make money, people in entertainment, and the government is available to assist in providing startup resources for them and to provide training and the like, so that when the tourists come, we have things to do. I also want to appeal to all of our citizens, let's keep the country clean. For ourselves, I know most of us do, but some don't take as much care as they ought to. Let's keep our cities clean. City King's song is very important. Let's keep it clean. I know that persons who are on the street selling have to make a living, but we can do this thing in a much better organized manner, and we have to remember the safety and security of our visitors and indeed of ourselves, because a safe environment is not only for the visitors.
President of the Florida Caribbean Cruise Association, Michelle Page, had high commendation for the leadership role PM Gonsalves plays in ensuring that the cruise industry, according to her, takes on a new beginning. Page is of the view that PM Gonsalves is a secret weapon to enhancing SVG's cruise industry.
This is a new beginning. As the Prime Minister said, you have a secret weapon, and his name is Ralph Gonsalves. He is going to set the stage for all of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to be able to look at cruise tourism as an economic engine. That's to be able to look at those ships, to have those passengers and crew get off, to understand what sets St. Vincent and the Grenadines apart from every other destination.
The FCCA president said there needs to be a holistic approach to further develop the cruise industry here in SVG, particularly as it relates to creating an authentic Vincentian experience.
So you are now on Team St. Vincent to incentivize every single person to understand that you are playing a part, a role in educating every single tourist of what is unique, different, and sets St. Vincent apart through your history. And this Prime Minister is going to lead by example, to have you all be able to understand the history, the stories, And this is what people, when they come to your shores, they want to understand and take a little bit of knowledge back with them. To understand your cuisine, what sets you apart, your arts and crafts. Every single person is going to find out what role, if they want to, can they play in creating economic impact from the passengers, and don't forget the crew. Crew members come ashore, they want to have food and beverages, they want to have services. So let's look at a new beginning to set St. Vincent as a demand destination.
While the executives from Carnival Cruise Line, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity Cruise Line and Disney did not give any indication that their cruise lines will make port calls to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they also advocated the need to ensure that a uniquely positive experience is created for visitors.
You know, just the fact that we're sitting here on this airport and St. Vincent was, and the Grenadines were able to move mountains, streams, towns, to create this incredible regional, great standard airport. I think it's a testament of what St. Vincent and the Vincentians can do. And I think the way I see it, again, this is my first time here in St. Vincent, but I think we're talking about a new St. Vincent, St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
When relationships strengthen, they form the backbone for business. That's from our part. From the country's part, it's stepping up to the plate, and Michelle and the Prime Minister have reiterated that quite well. It's everybody's responsibility in a destination to tell their story and to sell their destination. So when cruise guests in particular, and your regular land guests, step off their plane or off their ship, they leave having had such a great experience that they want to come back, and then they want to tell their friends, and then through social media they want to tell them right there.
The next steps leads into the value that the FCCA Association brings, not only from a port partner basis, but also as an operating line. Carnival Cruise Line isn't calling in the destination at the moment, but I'm part of the operations committee, and we share best practices amongst the brands. So what I'm going to be looking to see and read about is how you're going to deliver memorable, positive guest experiences for my members, Royal Caribbean and Disney. What we're looking to create are positive experiences, positive surprises. Every cruise passenger is looking to be immersed into a local culture. They want to experience your hospitality. I could only hope that the hospitality that cruise passengers see on a regular basis could be akin to what we've seen today through your leadership, Prime Minister. Thank you.
In other news, senior public servants from across the Caribbean region, as well as meteorologists and climatologists, local government officials and other major stakeholders gathered here earlier today for the official opening of the 2017 Caribbean Climate Outlook Forum, which has been taking place at the Beachcombers Hotel for the past 2 days now. Expected to culminate this Friday, June 2nd. CARICOF is a series of meetings aimed to provide information and training to regional stakeholders on the upcoming wet or hurricane season. Nikita Tony tells us more in this report.
Meetings already on the way here in SVG. Over the last 2 days, the Caribbean Climate Outlook Forum, or CARICOF, was earlier today, Wednesday, May 31st, officially opened at the Beachcombers Hotel. Today's event sought to present forecasts for the upcoming climatic period, which include products for rainfall and temperatures for up to 3 to 6 months, and also feature a drought forecast with an alert system having been developed, supported by response actions that were developed with stakeholders. In his opening remarks, Principal of the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology, CIMH, Dr. David Farrell, said over the last 50 years, the CIMH has supported resilience building against weather conditions and climatic change, with the institute recently being designated by the World Meteorological Organization as the Regional Climate Center. Commending Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves for not only being an excellent host, but for being the first head of state to attend a CARICOF meeting, Farrell called for more nations to have senior representation at the forum.
We may pray that we don't have any disasters. We know that that's inevitable. But we hope that people are better prepared and loss of life is reduced because of the early warning systems that we have been supporting in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and worldwide. Looking at sustainable ways that we can keep the whole area of climate services alive and well, noting that climate services now are an essential part of the sustainable development agenda for most countries.
Mission Director of the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, for the Eastern and Southern Caribbean, Christopher Cushins, noted that the meeting provided an avenue for regional meteorologists, climatologists, along with other members of various socio-economic sectors to be better equipped to prepare for the upcoming weather and climate conditions.
USAID's focus has extended beyond supporting the CARICOF to include increasing the product range and services delivery mechanism to national, regional, and international stakeholders. Regional practitioners are now equipped to share the information to a broader stakeholder group and demonstrate how climate data can help the decision of farmers, water resource managers, disaster managers, and personnel within the health sector, as well as the general public.
Delivering the featured address, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves emphasized the need for there to be events such as CARICOF, noting that it enhances the region's preparedness for the wet or hurricane season.
The certainty of that period is turned upside down. The Jamaicans learned earlier this month, that June is not too soon. And we have learned that it's not all over in October because of the blows we have received from nature in November and December. I have a special reflection on gender and very much single mother households. We also have to look at men also, but it's very important that we address this question.
In his vote of thanks, Science and Technical Officer at the Caribbean Meteorological Organization, CMO, Glendale D'Souza, called for the full participation of all delegates as they have a duty to ensure that policymakers and other stakeholders, as well as the public, are well informed and prepared.
Hurricanes or tropical storms have been here for more than 500 years. They're going to stay. And it's up to us to build the resilience to mitigate against the effect. And as we build within ourselves, we build out to the community, and the government will take care of all of us as an overarching mitigation system.
The week of proceedings will conclude with the regional sectoral early warning information systems across climate timescales, EWIS ACTs, close-out meetings under the BRCCC program, slated for tomorrow, Thursday, June 1st, and Friday, June 2nd. Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.
Thank you, Nikita. Minister of Agriculture Sabota Caesar is hinting at plans to broaden the spectrum of this country's agriculture sector. At a recent handing over ceremony of some 100 calla lily plants at the Orange Hill Horticulture Research and Development Complex, Minister Caesar explained that it is significant that the government invests in various commodities that will ensure a thriving agricultural sector. The Agriculture Minister further reiterated that with the operations of the Argyle International Airport and the recent addition of the Amerijet's Boeing 767 aircraft, the reality of facilitating local agricultural produce to other major markets is promising.
In order for us to maintain a feasible transactional enterprise with Amerijet between Argyle International Airport and Miami International, we have to invest in a number of commodities that will assist us to put more cargo on the planes. So we have already written to the government of the United States of America to address the issue of our golden apples going back to the United States of America. We are working to send more callaloo to the US, breadfruit, even though it's very difficult to compete with Jamaica at this point in time. We're working to see if we could increase the volume so that we could be more competitive in the marketplace.
Minister Caesar also noted that the ministry is looking at the prospects of having a thriving floral industry in this country, and that the calla lily plant will be an important aspect of this venture.
And we are looking not only at calla lilies, but the development of a national horticulture project, which will include other cut flowers. I have been advised that in the next 15 to 16 months, we can see the possibility of a first harvesting. And of course, like any other thing else, there will be teething problems. And a tech pack would have to be transferred to farmers. I am happy that we already have a cooperative platform upon which to begin production. So we are not going to shoot in the dark, because we have established cooperatives that we are working with, and they are going to be the first groups targeted.
The Agriculture Minister also spoke of a partnership between his ministry and that of the tourism and hospitality industry to facilitate the development of the floral industry.
But with the Argyle International Airport, we are going to expect to have more rooms available here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And cut flowers will become a product of greater demand. And what we do not want to see happen is that whilst we have an increase in our visitor arrivals, that we have to import cut flowers for the rooms. And there's going to be a need for someone, and I know the cooperatives would be in an excellent position to do this, to set up a local supply chain for the Grenadines and also for the hotel product here on mainland St. Vincent.
Parliamentarians across the region, including representatives from SVG, gathered in Jamaica on Tuesday for a two-day conference focusing on significantly halving the HIV/AIDS epidemic across the Caribbean region. The two-day conference, organized by the Pan-Caribbean Partnership Against HIV and AIDS PANCAP in collaboration with the United Nations Development Program, saw over 40 parliamentarians meeting to discuss the role of parliamentarians in contributing to the ending of the HIV/AIDS epidemic. According to Dr. Douglas Slater, Assistant Secretary General, Human and Social Development, CARICOM Secretariat, a regional approach in combating the AIDS epidemic is necessary given the enormity of the challenges for any one small country of the Caribbean. Dr. Slater noted that a consensus on a regional approach to combating the epidemic is needed, and greater collaboration will position key stakeholders to continue to accelerate the human development agenda. Addressing the issue of legislative reform across member states of the Caribbean community, Dr. Slater cautioned that the region has made very little progress in legal reforms for key populations. Meanwhile, Government Senator and Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly here, Carlos James, who attended the Parliamentary Forum, noted that key prevention strategies through legal and policy reforms can contribute to significant reduction, if not ending, of the HIV/AIDS epidemic in the region. The meeting was also attended by Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Senator Deborah Charles, Opposition Senator Jules Ferdinand, Daniel Cummins, Member of Parliament for West Kingston, and Winfield Tanis Abbott, Secretary of the Caribbean Regional Network for People Living with HIV. Promoting good public health can be a powerful means to encourage a gentler and kinder society. That's according to Senior Nursing Officer at the Mental Health Rehabilitation Center, Diana Bailey, as she spoke at the handing over ceremony on Tuesday of medical supplies from the St. Matthias Charities, Inc. To the facility. Bailey thanked the organization for its kind and timely donation, adding that the government needs to give the necessary support to such charities and civil society organizations in order to narrow the gap between supply and demand and in meeting the needs of the populace. Bailey added that persons with mental health issues need the support of all, noting that the promotion of good mental health can aid in creating a kinder society.
Strive to provide more acceptable standard of care from custodial to therapeutic and rehabilitative. Reintegration back into the community is only possible when family and others are involved in the care of their sick relative, when families care for each other. People with mental health problems need our support. They need a friend, they need housing, they need work, just to mention a few, to aid in their recovery and to sustain their mental health. Promoting good mental health, it is said, can be a powerful means to encourage a gentler and kinder society. We must all play our part so that persons with mental illness can recover and be restored back to their social function.
Also speaking at the handing over ceremony was Minister of Health Luke Brown, who praised the St. Matthias Charities, Inc. for its initiative, adding that this forms part of a partnership between the government and stakeholders in building the capacity of the local health sector.
It's not as if we're operating in silos, you know, unto ourselves. It's not as if the government is doing one thing and somebody else is doing another thing. No, we're working hand in hand to build up our healthcare system's capacity. And this is a clear illustration of all stakeholders in this process working hand in hand. I want to commend the initiative and wish it every success. I want the items to be cared for in a way that is respectful of the generosity that we are experiencing here today. Let us be respectful in how we look after these items. Let us make sure that our systems are in place to protect and preserve them and to ensure that they last for a very long time.
President of St. Matthias Charities, Inc., Pastor Robert McBannett, commended the Ministry of Health for continuing to place an emphasis on mental health and the age, and expressed confidence that the donation would go a long way in improving the lives of the patients.
Institution. We pledge to continue assisting these institutions. I believe that this donation will not only complement the efforts of the government, it ensuring that the patients and residents of both institutions receive quality medical care, but will make life less stressful for members of staff and better for the patients. Our vision is to continue working with the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment through a framework for cooperation and collaboration.
As it continues to contribute to the mass component of Vincey Mass, the members of the Owen Ralph and the Professionals Mass Band are making the necessary adjustments and fittings for their 2017 production Celebrate 40 Years Then and Now. As we hear in this report by Nikita Tony, despite a surge of challenges, the Mass Band, which stands as one of the oldest traditional mass bands here in SVG, is aiming to leave their mark on Vincey Mass 2017 and have their eyes eyes set on the coveted Band of the Year title.
Having been involved in Vincey Mass since its inception, the Owen Ralph and Professionals Mass Band is this year celebrating 40 years as they present their 2017 production, Celebrate 40 Years, Then and Now. Following the footsteps of our father Owen Ralph, who is the band's founder and one of this country's loyal contributors to Vincey Mass, band leader Verlene Ralph James noted that this year's production aims to highlight the band's evolution over the past 40 years.
Well, 40 years ago, I could have said that was mass, because 40 years ago, you know, we had more masqueraders playing mass, and then back then, as I said, it used to be the categories. There were two categories. There were fancy and there were traditional, and we were more part of the traditional. So that's why we come up with this team, Celebrate 40 Then and Now. Is basically when we started to where we at now. We started with the war, the Indian and pirate and so forth, to where we are now with the bikinis and the tongues.
Noting that the issue of low or no sponsorship continues to plague small bands such as hers, Ralph James outlined that despite the major challenges, she continues to have hope that her production, which consists of 7 sections, will come through.
It's a bit slow, but I think as the season gets closer, it would pick up. Back then, mass was good, but then now, the struggles now is that bands are having a lot of problems, like the smaller bands are having a lot of problems in terms of sponsorship. The business places, they're not spreading the sponsorship around. Like they're giving the sponsor to certain mass bands who could help themselves already. They're not spreading it. And, you know, I think basically they should spread the sponsorship around.
Ralph James further took the opportunity to urge Vincentians to give support to the traditional mass component of Vincey Mass, noting that her band will be aiming to take Vincey Mass 2017 by storm.
Just want to encourage people to come on out and play mass with Owen Ralph and the Professionals. The costumes are very reasonable, simple. Just come on out and have fun and enjoy yourself.
Despite the many challenges, the band leader and members of Owen Ralph and the Professionals Mass Band are still willing and ready for Vincey Mass 2017. Reporting for Carnival Beat, I am Nikita Tony.